Hey, how's everybody doing today? Today I want to continue breaking down this updated version of the alleged plot leak. I took some time off from doing these, that way I could put a few theories out and give you guys something different, so hopefully you guys did enjoy those even if you did disagree. But today I'm going to be discussing Season 7, Episode 4, and what is likely to happen based off of the set photos and reports that we've gotten so far. So let's begin. Season 7, Episode 4 starts with Sansa in Winterfell praying at the weirwood tree. And while she is out there, Arya and Bran arrive. And it says that the Hound is actually carrying Bran on his back. Personally, I believe that they are going to definitely reunite next season in Winterfell. Some of the first set photos that were leaked online were of Bran, Arya, and Sansa together on set during the same day. And it did appear that Arya was wearing northern clothes, and it wasn't actually that much different than what Lyanna Mormont was wearing on set that day too. But unfortunately, we have no idea what kind of scene they were filming, so I can't say whether or not they were filming a scene together. But it's obvious from the way Season 6 ended that they were all heading toward the same place. Also, I'm not sure if all you guys saw the first few images HBO officially released for Season 7, but I think these released photos tell a bit of a story. It doesn't really reveal that much visually, but I think this photo of Arya right here is her seeing Winterfell again for the first time since she was a little girl. And the next photo of Sansa at the weirwood tree kind of feels like she's seeing someone for the first time too. Actually, I guarantee that's what these photos are. I think that's definitely Arya overlooking Winterfell as she approaches. And I think this is Sansa seeing Arya or Bran again for the first time since they were all very young. Now, I'm not sure if the Hound's going to be carrying Bran on his back or not, but I think it's possible. He may be heading in that direction, and given how fond he is of Arya and Sansa, I could see him giving Bran a hand when he arrives at the gate. Next it says Tyrion and Davos arrive at King's Landing. Bronn and Jaime come out to negotiate. Bronn and Tyrion catch up quickly, however Jaime refuses to surrender. We definitely know from the leaked set photos that Tyrion and Davos do leave and more than likely go to King's Landing, because there is gold cloaks in the set photos too, but I do not think he's going to be meeting with Jaime and Bronn during Episode 4. Because a report already came out that Jaime's going to be at war during Episode 4, so he's not going to be in King's Landing. Him and Bronn are going to be much further south. Matt Shakman, who's going to be directing Episode 4 and 5, was already seen directing these battle scenes as well. So we know this is going to be when Jaime and Bronn are marching back from Highgarden, after they just took it over, and this is when Daenerys and the Dothraki attack the Lannister and Tarly army. And when Game of Thrones produces a battle like this, it typically takes up the entire second half of the episode. So I don't think Jaime and Bronn are going to make it back to King's Landing in time by the end of Episode 4 to meet Tyrion and Davos on the beach. I don't think it's going to be at the beginning of Episode 4 either, because that's when Jaime and Bronn are going to be leaving Highgarden. But the reports could always be wrong. You never really know. But so far they have been amazingly accurate from what I've seen. Next we have a scene where Gendry spots Davos and the Gold Cloaks saw Tyrion, so they follow them back to their boat. Gendry takes out the Gold Cloaks with his hammer, then they go to the boat and back to Dragonstone. I think this is pretty accurate. I think the timeline's pretty accurate too. Photos have already been circulating for a very long time now, with these things taking place. I believe that is Gendry, and that is obviously Tyrion, Davos, and Gold Cloaks. And in other photos we can see Gendry, who is wearing the same clothes as the previous photo, and Davos getting ready to leave Dragonstone with Jon, and the director on set is Matt Shakman, who's going to be doing Episode 4 and 5. So it is likely that Tyrion and Davos get Gendry in this episode, then either leave with Jon in the same episode or the very next one. But it's definitely 4 or 5 because of the director on set is doing all of these scenes on the beach. Which leads me right to the next one where it says Jorah arrives on Dragonstone and reunites with Dany. Then it says Jon offers Jorah Longclaw, but Jorah declines the offer. The first part of this is 100% accurate, I believe. Jorah is seen on set with Daenerys and Jon, with the same director as before, Matt Shakman, who's going to be directing this episode and 5, just like I said previously. So I really can't dispute this, but I can't say whether or not Jon's going to offer him his sword Longclaw. I can really only speculate. And most of you already know that I've predicted something like this could take place, simply because the type of man Jon is, and because of how much support he has gotten from the Mormonts and how much he respects them back. Lyanna Mormont has came through for Jon on several occasions, and she even stood her ground with Stannis, even though Ned and Robb were dead and Jon was at the wall, she still let Stannis know that there was no king but the king in the north, who was named Stark. So you gotta respect Lyanna for that. She's a complete badass. So I wouldn't be shocked if Jon did offer the sword back, but let's be honest. Longclaw's always gonna look better with Jon wielding it. It does have the wolf pommel on it too, but it's not like they can't easily change it again. But it is a bastard sword, so Jon's probably going to hold on to it for now. And we can also see in the photo when they prepare to leave that Jon still has Longclaw on his hip. Next it says Jon receives a message from Sansa, telling him that Arya and Bran are alive and at Winterfell. I'm not really sure if this is possible. At the beginning of this episode it says that Bran and Arya just arrived and met Sansa. So is it possible that a raven could get all the way to Dragonstone in the same episode? I'm not really sure about that. That would have to be one hell of a raven to travel that amount of distance halfway through the episode. I don't know about this. What do you guys think? I don't really think it could get that far that fast. But it says Littlefinger says he's going to send the Vale forces home if Sansa does not marry him. So we know the last time we saw Littlefinger he was in Winterfell, right when Jon was being named king in the north. And he was definitely upset about that. He did not like the way that played out. And we know Sansa just had given him the cold shoulder too, right outside. And Littlefinger kind of screwed up and told her his plan. His dream of sitting on a throne with her by her side. But that's not what Sansa wants, not with him at least. And I think Littlefinger kind of feels entitled to something now that he showed up with the Vale forces and saved Jon's life, which led them to reclaiming their home in Winterfell. Does Littlefinger deserve something for this? I don't think so. The Vale army belongs to Sansa's bloodline anyway, so they should have been there helping with or without Littlefinger, in my opinion. I don't know if Littlefinger's going to force her to marry him or not, but I am afraid that when Jon leaves for Dragonstone, Littlefinger's going to stay behind with him not there. That way he can try and manipulate her in some way. Personally, I'm just hoping that Tormund, Brienne, or even the Hound are there to prevent anything bad from happening to Sansa while Jon is gone. I would hate for her to leave with Littlefinger before she could see Arya and Bran again. So I don't know about this being a real scene or not. What do you guys think? Littlefinger's definitely capable of something like this, but I'm not too sure. But I want to move on to the next one, which says, Qyburn creates a weapon of some sort to slay dragons. He says the Maesters were the ones to figure out how to slay dragons the last time they came to Westeros. I really couldn't help but laugh the first time I read this because I literally just made a theory about Qyburn making a weapon for Jaime to defeat the dragons. But the theory I made was meant to be as a complete joke, which I thought I made clear in the video right before I said it. But you guys would not believe the amount of hate comments I got on that video, because people actually thought I believed that Qyburn would build Jaime a hand cannon. I was actually shocked people thought I really meant that theory. I thought it was kind of obvious that it was a joke, but some people just refuse to have any kind of fun on here. Oh well, anyways guys, will Qyburn create some kind of a weapon to defeat the dragons? Well, I think he better, because they aren't going to be able to stop them with what they currently have. I know Qyburn can do some medical engineering, but I don't know if he can do any kind of mechanical engineering. I think it's possible that he can think of something to take them down, so I won't rule this out. I think someone is going to have to think of something if they want to make this a fair fight. I think he better make his own damn dragon binder or something like that. Next it says Davos and Tyrion return to Dragonstone with Gendry, and they tell Daenerys that Cersei won't surrender. Gendry tells Jon he knew Arya, so Jon tells him that she is in Winterfell. For some reason I think this mission that Davos and Tyrion took is to get Gendry and Gendry only. I don't think they went there to talk to Jaime. The timeline doesn't make sense for Jaime and Bronn to be in King's Landing during this, and I kind of feel like Jon and Daenerys sent them to get Gendry specifically. Tyrion knows King's Landing better than anybody, and Davos was a smuggler, so they are a perfect team to get in and out of King's Landing quickly with Gendry, who I think is going to come into play as the season goes on, which I do have a theory about that I will be releasing this week. But again, these are all just my opinions. And the last scene is with Jon and Davos. They come up with a plan to get Dany's forces north, so they decide to capture a White. Basing this strictly off the photos and reports I have seen so far, I feel that something along these lines is definitely going to take place. We can see here that Jon and company are leaving Dragonstone, and it doesn't appear as if they are leaving with any of Dany's men. So it is entirely plausible that she is not ready to help in the north just yet. So could they be going to capture a White to prove to her about the threat? Sure, I guess. But I think it would be easier for Dany to ride on Drogon and have her other two dragons fly alongside her as she goes and just takes a look for herself. She wouldn't have to get off the dragon, and being up that high in the sky, she could see them from a good distance away without too much risk. But I guess that wouldn't be very exciting television, would it? It would be a hell of a lot more tense sending a group of popular characters north to the most dangerous place in the world, with a lack of manpower and a lack of weapons, to go behind the lines of the greatest enemy of all time and capture one of their men in an attempt to get back south safely with the prisoner fully attacked. That is much better television, so I think they may do something crazy like this. And from the look of the set and from the reports, it sounds like this is actually going to happen. Most of you already know this, but their set is already built with a frozen lake. And they have already cast 300 extras to play as whites. And Tormund, Benjen, the Hound, Jorah are all going to be there for this scene too, just like the original leak said. So to me it seems like that is exactly what's taking place. And until I hear otherwise, that's what I'm going to go with. So it does appear that most of this episode is either taking place or looking like it could be taking place. There were only a few minor things in here that I had issue with, but overall it seems to be on the right track. You guys did enjoy those, even if you did disagree. But today I'm going to be discussing Season 7, Episode 4, and what is likely to happen based off of the set photos and reports that we've gotten so far. So let's begin. Season 7, Episode 4 starts with Sansa. Some of the first set photos that were leaked online were of Bran, Arya, and Sansa together on set during the same day. And it did appear that Arya was wearing northern clothes. And it wasn't actually that much different than what Lyanna Mormont was wearing on set that day too. Sansa in Winterfell, praying at the weirwood tree. And while she is out there, Arya and Bran arrive. And it says that the Hound is actually carrying Bran on his back. Personally, I believe that they are going to definitely reunite next season in Winterfell. But unfortunately, we have no idea what kind of scene they were filming, so I can't say whether or not they were filming a scene together. But it's obvious from the way Season 6 ended that they were all heading toward the same place. Also, hey, how's everybody doing today? Today I want to continue breaking down this updated version of the alleged plot leak. I took some time off from doing these, that way I could put a few theories out and give you guys something different, so hopefully